The first types of content that I was creating were things that I assumed people wanted to hear from me about. So once I started doing that, once I flipped that, that's when videos really started doing much, much better. It's with that same core theme, but it's with a specific application that people are looking for. I couldn't have guessed that, and it's really interesting information that I wouldn't have known if I wasn't paying attention to the analytics. That content really started to resonate. That's when I got tons of comments, tons of engagement. Those videos started to really take off. Bring them in with what they want, but actually give them what they need.
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Selling Online Courses. We're here to share winning strategies and secret hacks from top performers in the online course industry. My name's John Ainsworth, and today's guest is Dr. Kim Foster. Now, Kim's a doctor turned reinvention expert. She's an author and a TEDx speaker, and she helps people change their lives by changing who they believe themselves to be. After 20 years practicing medicine, Kim left her career to build a global platform teaching the science of identity transformation. And her work blends behavioral psychology, personal development, and wellness. And she develops digital education programs that help people redesign their inner blueprint and build lives that actually reflect the person they're becoming. Her thriving YouTube channel has grown to more than 250,000 subscribers. And her forthcoming book, Redesigning You, that comes out in June 2026, explores how to shift the beliefs and stories that shape behavior and destiny. And Kim's mission is to empower people to reinvent themselves at any age and step into what they were meant to become. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, John. I'm super excited to be here.
So talk us through, who is it that you're helping with your courses? Who tends to be your audience?
Yeah, so my audience tends to be people who they've achieved something in their life. Life looks good on paper, but they have really felt like they have outgrown that version. They're feeling stuck in their career or their life, and they're ready for essentially a reinvention, but don't know where to start or how to actually execute on that.
Interesting. Okay. What's your kind of approach when you're trying to get content out in front of that audience? Are you doing more discovery-based videos, or is there are people searching for this? Because that sounds like an existential kind of thing that a lot of people wouldn't quite even know how to put into words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, when I'm creating content, and YouTube is the main place where I'm creating my content. So for each piece of YouTube, each YouTube video, I kind of take a different angle. So the video that's coming out tomorrow, for example, is about how to become more decisive. And I look at it from my lens, which is identity. So, people who are floundering and circling and indecision, so much of it is that they just don't see themselves as someone who can make decisions quickly, move, and course correct if necessary. But the key is to just make the decision. They are stuck in an identity of I need to make this perfect, or I can't make a mistake, or I've made mistakes in the past. I always make the wrong decision, like that. So that piece of content is still with my core through line of, who are you being in this world? What do you believe about yourself? But it's applying it to the specific problem that people have of I can never make decisions. And so that's how, when I create pieces of content, it's with that same core theme, but it's with a specific application that people are looking for. So how to change their life, how to start over after they have had, a setback, like all the different things that people are looking for when they're feeling stuck or lost or wanting a change or dissatisfied. But yeah, so that's how I essentially create my content.
Okay, that makes sense. So you have a specific topic that is something that people already know that they've got an issue with. They might be searching for it. They might see it on YouTube, like just scrolling through. But then behind that, you're explaining that with the underlying message of identity, so that they can kind of see, that's what the real issue is the identity. And then that kind of ties into your overall theme. Okay. Have I understood that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's the theme of give them what they want, but bring them in with what they want, but actually give them what they need.
Yeah.
And then that's because that is my unique thought leadership. Like that's my unique take on things. And so they'll find me because they have an interest. YouTube, believes that they have an interest in these kinds of specific topics. And then they find me. And then if they resonate with that message, then they stick around, they subscribe, they watch more videos, all of that good stuff.
One of the things that you've said before is that you think that YouTubers and course creators don't necessarily need more content. They need tighter identity positioning, and that they're producing high volume, but the message is diluted. Could you talk about that in the context of what you've just kind of explained of how you're doing it?
Yeah. So, well, I guess, I can talk about my own journey. And when I first started on YouTube, I'm a former doctor. I was a GP, family doctor. And so the first types of content that I was creating were things that I assumed people wanted to hear from me about. So I was talking about nutrition tips and diet and exercise and sleep hygiene and like all the wellness information that I thought that people were wanting, and belly fat and how to quit sugar and all of that kind of stuff. And that content does do well. But when I started sharing more about my own story of my own transformation in my life, going from being a doctor to having an online business, being an entrepreneur, becoming a content creator, all of that stuff, and what it took for me to overcome my boxed in identity as your doctor, talk about doctor things. That transformation for me, that content really started to resonate. That's when I got tons of comments, tons of engagement. Those videos started to really take off. So for me, I thought, okay, interesting. Like that's my unique thing. And that's what people are most curious about hearing from me about. That's really whether they know it yet or not, that's really their struggle, is believing that they could do a similar transformation, whatever their situation is, but could they go from point A to point B? And it's not so much about how do I lose weight, how do I get better sleep, how do I manage my stress, all of those kinds of things, which there's loads of that kind of content everywhere. There's no shortage of that. So for me, it was tightening in on, yes, people who want to optimize their life and become well, but also really how do they shift internally, like mindset and identity wise. And so that was me tightening my content into not just broad wellness, but really a very specific kind of life and health optimization piece.
Okay.
Another example that I could give, like along these lines of becoming, like when you're creating content, really understanding who you're, tightening the identity is of your audience. Just this weekend, I was having lunch and doing an interview with one of my golf mentors, because golf is my current obsession and has been for a while.
Golf's one of those things that it's like, it's possible to not just get a little obsessed about, but really, really into.
Full on, like head over heels. I'm in love with this more than anything else. Yes, totally. So so she's a golf YouTuber. And her YouTube channel is going well. She's doing well, but she wants to kind of take it to the next level. So as we're eating lunch before our interview, we sort of pulled up her analytics and looked at her, what are her top performing pieces of content. And her top videos were things like, because she has a course business too, of course, so this is applicable. But her top videos were, what do all the different clubs in my bag do? What is golf lingo? What do I do when I go to the driving range? How do I even get started with that? It was those kinds of themes. And I said to her, so what does this tell us about the people who are showing up and are watching your content the most? It's really people who feel like outsiders in the golf world, and they are feeling like they're going to make fools of themselves. They're beginners, clearly, and they don't even know where to start, and they don't want to look stupid, and they want to just understand the culture, understand what's going on. So there are some golf YouTubers that have like how to fix your slice, how to hit a draw, how to hit a fade, like those different for the golf geek who is already a golfer and, knows what they're doing, but wants to optimize. But her audience really is, I want to get into golf, but I feel like an outsider. How do you make me feel like an insider? And so for her, like if she can double down on that content, then I think she's really going to hit a nerve with people who are looking for that specific element within. I mean, golf YouTube is specific enough, but really like even narrowing in with that.
Do you think that with what you figured out in terms of finding those certain videos that did work with your audience, do you think there was any way of you doing that besides a bit of trial and error?
It was
Or do you think
trial
that's
and
maybe
error.
the best way to do
Yeah,
it?
I think it's kind of with YouTube. I think it's kind of the best way because there are so many signals that you can read to come back. I mean, first of all, tons of analytics and metrics and things which will tell you exactly what your audience behavior is and what people like and what they're returning to, where they're coming from, what other stuff they're watching, all of that. And then the qualitative stuff of, the comments and what are people engaging with the most and what really seems to be resonating with people. And because you can't really figure that out beforehand, just sort of in your head or on paper, because things I wouldn't have guessed that would have been the case. It wasn't until I started. So you really have to pay attention for sure. You have to be willing to experiment, and then you have to really pay attention to the metrics and the qualitative signals that are coming to you.
Okay, so if someone listening is like, oh, I'm interested in this. They're a YouTuber already. They've been creating content for a while, and they want to try and dial in, like narrow in their customer avatar and figure out like exactly who am I serving here. They could go through and look at their most popular videos and see, is there something in common between those? And then what were some of the other things that you were mentioning, like looking at what other videos their audience is watching, I think you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really easy to get overwhelmed with YouTube analytics. I mean, there's just so much to look at. But I mean, of course, there's obvious things like demographics. Actually, this is another really interesting thing for me demographically, because I first started making content kind of targeted to women because I thought, I mean, that's a logical thing. And I thought, women's wellness and is growing and midlife and all of that stuff. So I thought, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But what I noted when I look at my analytics is that my most popular videos and going forward is that I used to be like 80% female, 20% male viewers. And I'm now at 60%. Well, actually, it's more like 50-50 male, female now. And that is really, I couldn't have guessed that. And it's really interesting information that I wouldn't have known if I wasn't paying attention to the analytics. So just demographic wise, is really important to know who, who's watching. And I mean, of course, you're going to get data also on click-through rate, like are your thumbnails, titles performing and giving you the results that you want. And actually, one of the best tips with YouTube that I received was to create your titles and thumbnails first, rather than create your content and then find a title and thumbnail that kind of fits with it and is appealing. So once I started doing that, once I flipped that, that's when videos really started doing much, much better.
Makes sense. One of the things that I find with writing copy for like sales pages, for email promotions, most people don't realize the importance of having a really, really clear customer avatar. And this is kind of the same thing, but for you, talking about the same thing for YouTube. And I think a lot of people, what they do is they come up with who they would like their ideal customer to be, rather than who is your typical customer, who is your typical viewer, because you've got to lean into reality rather than come up, like you were saying, like you can't kind of do it all in your head. It's like, look at what is actually working for you and then kind of double down on that is generally much more effective. And for anybody listening who's interested in working on their customer avatar, I've got a free, I've got a course on it. It's normally paid, but you can get access to it for free as a podcast listener. Just drop me an email, john@datadrivenmarketing.co, and I'll send you through a login for it. Okay. So you double down on that. You'd figured out that who your audience was more tightly. You've got a kind of way of creating the videos for them. What's like the next step for you? When did you start making courses and choose the topics you were going to do that on?
Well, I mean, I actually started making courses before I
interesting.
got on YouTube. Yeah, I thought that YouTube would be, maybe just a bit of a marketing channel or a place where I could have some content, but I had been building my courses out before then. But of course, as once YouTube started to really take off for me and ended up being my primary, well, everything, lead generation, community building, everything, then I was able to tweak and refine my offerings based
Hmm.
on how, it sort of all came together organically. So, yeah, but I knew that I wanted to create courses before I started even dabbling in YouTube.
That's interesting. A lot of people who come on the podcast, a lot of people's journey is that they started with YouTube content, and then at some point their audience was like, can you make courses for us? And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. But you started much more intentionally. You're like, right, I'm making courses on this. But I guess that your courses weren't originally on identity transformation. They were
No,
about
no.
some of the topics you were saying your YouTube videos were about. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Okay. What's next for you with the business? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to grow revenue in the business? Like, what's the kind of focus over the next year?
Yeah, great question. So next for me is I really want to expand my platform, not off YouTube, like continue. YouTube is my main engine, so I'm continuing to do that. But I also, because as you read in my intro, I just recently did a TEDx talk. I've got a book coming
Congratulations.
out.
Very
Thank
cool.
you. Thanks. Yeah, that was an amazing experience. So I want to do more of that. I want to do more in-person speaking, because as much as I love YouTube and as much as I love video and I can reach people, obviously literally all over the world, I absolutely love being in person in a room with people. There is no substitute for that. And to me, I think also with the rise of AI, like being in person with people that's something that currently AI can't replicate. Who knows what's coming? But right now, yeah. And so I love the energy of being, like, when I was on the stage with the TEDx talk, and then actually even better than being on stage with the TEDx talk was the lobby afterwards. After I did my talk, there was a brief break in the day for people who were at this TED Day, and having people come to me afterwards and ask questions, and they were really high quality questions. People were super engaged and were sharing all kinds of things about their own personal story and asking my opinion and thoughts on that. And it was just amazing. I was on an absolute high for the rest of the day. So I want more of that, actually. That's what I would like more of that, because YouTube is awesome. It's awesome, but you're not getting quite that same energy. And so, coming back at you, even people who are super enthusiastic and positive in the comments, it's not the same as in-person interaction. So, yeah.
One of the things that I think is one of the biggest hacks for if you're going to a conference is can you find a way to get invited to talk? Because if you talk at a conference, everyone wants to come. You don't have to go and talk to you don't have to go and introduce yourself to anybody. Everyone comes and talks to you. Everyone knows who you are.
Mingling is suddenly very easy. Yes, totally.
Okay. So you want to do more of that. Are you still going to be working on selling the courses, or is your focus more on how do I do more of this? How do I get in front of more people in person? And the courses is kind of on hold almost.
The courses had been, for the last 6 months, I would say, I have de-emphasized the monetization stuff, like in terms of developing new things, because there's only so much time in the day. And I decided that what I needed to focus on was building that platform, because everything becomes so much easier when you have a bigger platform. So I really focused on YouTube, getting a TEDx talk and prepping for that, and getting the book ready to be published. So building up those platform pieces to kind of start to reach that next level. And then, I do have the courses that are existing currently sitting there. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be what I'm going to start ramping up again next, is building out more and doing more marketing of courses for the back end, because TEDx is great. It's free. It was free, but TEDx speakers don't get paid. So, of course I have to do both. I have to work on the monetization strategies and also building the platform. But I find that if I give myself seasons where I'm focusing on one or the other, it tends to work better for me. I am less scattered and less, dividing myself amongst too many things.
I was looking at your numbers in terms of the email list, because you got a good size email list, right? It's 62,000.
62,000, yeah.
But in terms of the percentage, like, because you got a 680,000 views a month on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you want to, and I from a money point of view, it would definitely make sense. I think you could grow that email list probably quite a lot faster than you are doing at the moment. What's the current kind of approach in terms of like, how do you get people onto the email list from YouTube?
Yeah, good question. So what I almost in 95% of my videos, I have a call to action to download some kind of freebie or join. I have a free 5-day challenge called the Reset. It's like an email thing. It's evergreen. And so I usually choose one relevant, either like a free download, or that free challenge. And so then I always work that into my content somewhere and drop that call to action to get people onto my list.
And then do you link to it from like description, pinned comment, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's linked in the description. So I mention it verbally and then it's linked in the description.
Okay. Because you're getting at the moment, if you're getting 2,000 opt-ins a month from 680,000 views, what does that work out as? Like 0.3% or something? 1,000 views. 0.3%. Okay. Times. So this is not hard and fast rule, right? But most YouTube creators we see can get up to at least a 1% opt-in rate, which if that's the case for you, that means you could get 3 times as many opt-ins a month, which is obviously huge. Now, it sounds like you're doing a lot of stuff right already. So I'm kind of curious as to maybe what's missing there. I'm just going to click through to your YouTube channel, and it's probably going to start playing your intro video. So don't be surprised. Okay, let's go have a little look at some of your videos.
Excuse me.
How to find your life's purpose. Man, this is some deep stuff, Kim. I'm going to have to go watch this afterwards. Okay, join the Reset 5-day challenge. Do you have any analytics for, wait a minute, I'm just going to share screen.
For my
and I'll
opt-in
describe
percentages?
from the opt-in pages. Yeah, I'll share screen and then I'll describe, everybody listening, don't worry, I'm going to describe what I can see. So what I'm just kind of going through, having a look at with Kim now, is this is one of her opt-in pages for the free 5-day challenge to reclaim your energy, focus, and mindset. And if I click on sign me up towards the top, it's got opt-in and then first name and put your email address in. And then I'm going to click sign me up there and see what happens next. That gets you a page saying check your inbox to get started. Do you sorry to put you on the spot like this, but do you reckon you can get the do you know the percentages for that in terms of how many people who get to that page then opt in?
I am just pulling that up. Hang on.
All right, cool.
Bear with me. Okay, so let's see. The Reset opt-in conversion rate is 57%.
Okay, so that's really strong. The normal we see at that stage is about 70. So it's not like you're not like beating benchmark, but you're not miles off either. It's only like, 15% under. Okay. That'll be really interesting to kind of look at that then. If it's all right, I'm going to have a look through afterwards and see if I can figure out because you should be getting higher opt-ins, I think.
Yeah.
Like I've had clients who have got up to like 2% opt-in rate, but most people we can get to 1%. And so I'll have a little look and I'll see if I can figure that out. I can't see it just right away from looking at it.
Right.
Which is interesting. Okay.
Well, that opt-in percentage. Sorry, now that I'm looking at this, because now I'm looking at my other lead pages and other opt-ins, because that particular one is one that recently I have been using more, and it's got a lower. Like I have another ultimate morning routine menu opt-in that gets 73%. Conversion self-care checklist opt-in 68%. So I'm wondering if maybe. Because that particular opt-in, the Reset, it is a 5-day challenge. So that does, I have wondered this myself actually, if it represents a little bit more of a barrier for somebody, because it's not just like a one and done thing. It's like they're making a bit of a commitment to 5 days with me, essentially. And so maybe that shouldn't. What I like about it though is it really does a great job of building the relationship afterwards,
Yeah.
like after they opt in, because then I, have their permission, daily emails for 5 days, and I get a lot of responses to those emails, people coming back and making changes and things. So I feel like I'm really priming those people very nicely. But the just the straight numbers, maybe it's because it's self-select. People select in, select out.
Yeah, that is important because, like, if you look at webinars, they have a lower, similar to Challengers, they have a lower opt-in rate compared to other lead magnets, but they have a higher conversion rate to sales. So it's like, well, then that's okay, right? That's not a problem,
Right.
One thing that you do have at the moment that I'm just going to share screen again. This is that page that we were looking at. This one here. This is your confirmation page. After someone's opted in for the lead magnet. And what a lot of people don't realize is that this is actually, you can use this. It's basically the highest converting page in your entire funnel out of any step. And the reason is, it can be if you use it in the right way. And the reason is that when you send out an email promotion, there's only a percentage of people who open it, only a percentage of people who click. And then those people get through to the sales page. Well, now you've got a good chance of getting their attention and making a sale. But every single person who opts in to your email list sees this page.
Lands on the thank you page, yeah.
So what we tend to do is set up like a low ticket item at that stage, call it a Tripwire funnel. And it converts at generally somewhere between about 3 and 10% of people will buy. Now, obviously, because it's lower ticket, you're not talking like massive revenue, but it does two things. One, it works on autopilot. So just every month you're getting some sales coming in. So if you're getting 2,000 people seeing that page, if that converted at 10%, and if you had, let's say, I don't know, $60 as the average order value that people were paying at that point, then you'd be making $12,000 a month, like just by default, even when you're not doing anything else, which is great, right? It's just really nice. But the second thing that it does is if you're selling something that people really like, and then they buy it, they really like it, then they're much more likely to buy something else
primed.
from you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I have used Tripwires, not on that particular opt-in, but I have. I usually do like a much lower ticket thing, like a $27 kind of thing, because it's I figure that they're coming to me cold-ish. And so I'm offering something lower. And it has, well, I've tried a couple of different Tripwires. And one was like a digital planner. One is a thing that I actually really like. It's called the Habit Builder Kit. And it's kind of a bundle of digital downloads and things and templates and stuff for creating habits.
Perfect as a Tripwire.
Yeah. And that has done really well. But I have just recently put that together in the last couple months. Again, like, as I said, I've been kind of de-emphasizing the monetization side of things because I only have so much bandwidth.
There's a lot to do, aren't there? Yeah.
There's so much to do. So much. But I think you're right. Like, because when I think about from a psychology perspective, the people who are opting into the reset, if they've decided that they're going to spend 5 days with me, then they are more, on board with what I'm saying and doing. And it's not necessarily true that they are totally cold, like, because they might have watched a few of my YouTube videos and then decided to opt in. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that I probably should be optimizing the use of that thank you page to at least offer something.
Do you know how your Tripwire's performed in terms of conversion when you've had it in any other places?
Yeah, I have looked at that. I haven't looked at that recently. I've been kind of ignoring that particular metric. I use Samcart and look at the metrics from that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Cool.
But yeah, it's been variable, and the planner was not as good, but the Habit Builder Kit was doing really well.
Nice. Because one of the things that, it makes a massive difference how well they line up together. Like whatever you're selling as giving away for free as the lead magnet, and then whatever you're selling as a Tripwire. Like, our best performing one we've ever had, to my knowledge, is Teal Swan, and she had 5 free meditations was the lead magnet, and then the meditation vault, which was like 30 meditations, was the Tripwire. And so it
perfect.
fitted perfectly,
Perfect
right?
alignment,
It was like,
yeah.
so it's like, okay,
if you'd
everyone...
like 5, maybe you'd like 30.
Yeah. I watched a talk from a guy, Digital Marketer. I don't know if they're still around, but that was like a digital marketing training company back in the day. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
I went to one of their conferences and a guy was giving a talk about how they were about the importance of this step. And he said, we were selling t-shirts and we were trying to figure out what the upsell should be. And we thought maybe hoodies would be good because if you buy like t-shirts, maybe like hoodies. And it kind of did all right. And then we tried selling more t-shirts and that worked better because you know what people who buy t-shirts buy? T-shirts.
More t-shirts. That's so funny. And it seems so Captain Obvious. Like it just like, yes, clearly. But
Yeah.
it seems like almost too obvious. Like, no, people surely they want some variety in their life. Like, surely they want something else. But that is not necessarily true.
Yeah, it's like in the supplement space. If the standard system for supplement upsells is you sell 1 bottle of the thing, and then the upsell is you sell 3 bottles of the thing, and then the upsell to that is you sell 7 bottles of the thing.
Right. Oh my God. I mean, this is not rocket science. It feels like super obvious. Too obvious.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I struggle with stuff that's too obvious. Luckily I've got Josip on my team who like he just grounds me. Like I'm more of like a visionary type, and I'm like, oh, new ideas, things to try. Creative. I could do this, yeah. And he's like, yeah, but we've already got this thing that's working. Why do you want to do something else? Why don't we just carry on and do more of the thing that's working? And I'm like, that's so boring.
Boring. Boring. Yeah, exactly. That's a really interesting point that you make, because yes, you need somebody who's got a brain that works in a different way than like the visionary. Have you read the E-Myth?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so you're the visionary CEO kind of person who's got like the creative ideas and like, let's do this and let's try that. And I'm the same. And so I'm like, no, boring. Why would you just want to do the same thing? There's just endless ways that we could do this, and let's come up with different creative products. But yeah, sometimes it's just the super obvious next exact, just more of the same, which feels super boring, but it works. If it works, it works.
My friends, my girlfriend, they're all like, when I'm like, oh, I've got this new idea, they're like, have you talked to Josip?
They know.
Because I know how this goes. You'll spend 2 weeks working on it, and then you'll be like, oh no, that didn't actually work. That was like, it wasn't as great of an idea as I originally thought it was. And then I'll talk to Josip and he'll be like, yeah, I could have told you that. Yeah.
But it's fun to run experiments too, though, right?
No, like you need both, I think. I think you do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the not the dynamic, it's almost like the friction between those two personality types, I think, really helps.
Yeah.
It's like, because the person who is the solid, fixed in reality one is less likely to have something that jumps you forwards. But the person who comes up with crazy ideas are more likely to jump forwards, but they're also more likely to go off in completely the wrong direction. So it's like, I think that you
need the both. Yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
I went off to a conference recently. I was organising it. It's out in Lisbon, and there was a guy we had gave a talk there, and he was explaining how he had just sold all of his companies last year, and he was now building his new company with just AI. So he was building it using OpenClaw, and he had built 17 different bots. 17 different agents, like a CEO agent, a CFO agent, a copywriter agent, a designer agent, all of that. And they all talk to each other through OpenClaw. And he could watch it in Slack. He could watch them all having these conversations.
Oh, goodness.
And I was like, oh my God, like massively inspired. Like, right, I'm going to go build.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
So then on the last day of the conference, I got up early and I had this idea. I was like, this whole big system that I was going to build, and I built out version 1 of it in like a couple of hours. And then I like iterated on it for a couple of weeks. And I showed it to Josip and the team, whatever. And it's like, changes the business, like it just completely like moves us in a great new direction. But then I spent another 3 weeks working on like, oh, now I'm going to do this with it. And I'm now convinced that was a terrible idea. So it's like, you kind of got to you get a bit of both, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I agree. You need those like creative, interesting, pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope things. And then you need the like solid, steady state procedures. So You need it all.
For sure. Is there anybody else in your business? Is it just you? Do you have a team?
I have a team. Yeah. I mean, I have a video editor who, because that was pretty crucial for me. I have a social media manager, and then I have a virtual assistant.
Okay.
Yeah. And in some of my programs, I also have, because ones that have more engagement and customer service and coaching calls, I have some associate coaches who do the coaching for me.
So what do you do when you need grounding? Who helps get you?
It's good that you asked that, because as you were describing it, I was like, I don't really have a Yosef. Like, I'm wondering if I need somebody who is just like, no, Kim, stop getting crazy. Like, let's just stay with the program here for a little longer. Yeah, maybe I do. I mean, I know I have gaps on my team. Somebody who's going to be more of the I started reading Rocket Fuel recently because I really think I need one of an integrator. I don't have that person currently, but it's
not the easiest to find.
No.
I describe Yosef to people and they're like, I need a Yosef. How did you find him? I'm like, luck. I didn't. I have nothing for you. Like, I can't give you like a complicated strategy. Do this and this and this. No, I was just lucky. Just all I know is yes. Try and do that.
Yeah, I know. I went to last summer. Ali Abdal was having a mastermind in person, and because I spend my summers in London, so I went to that. It was for not his big thing for YouTube creators, but like there's only 15 of us that were there. And plus his whole team. It was awesome, actually. It was just so nice. It was such a great mastermind. And to have some serious one-on-one time with Ali was great. And but his right-hand man, Angus, I was like, I need an Angus. I need a guy who is just like does all the stuff, like manages all the people, the team, and then because that frees up Ali to just be like the ideas guy and the creation guy. And so I feel like that's what I need. I still haven't found that person yet, though.
I tell you, I heard a talk from somebody about how he found. I think it was this kind of person. It was certainly a very senior role. And what his approach, I thought was genius, but I've not tried it myself. So take this, I can't like vouch for it personally. But what he did was he went onto LinkedIn and he searched for people from similar but bigger companies than his. So he was running a coaching business, he would coach. I think it was like coaching for how to get a job as a consultant at like a management consultant firm that like he'd done. I think it was something like that, right?
Okay.
So they ran this coaching program. And so there's a load of coaching programs out there, and it didn't need to be in the same kind of niche, but he found people who had like done the whatever it was, marketing or COO or whatever role for that kind of company, and who weren't like the owner, they weren't the CEO of it, but they were like in the bit of that business that he was particularly interested in. And then he reached out to them and said, hey, I'd love to hire you for a day to come and help me review my business and like figure out how can I grow it. And then if they replied, he'd say like, what's your day rate? And it's just whatever they told him it was, that's what he was paying. It's like, didn't think too much about that. So that got him the opinions of like 10 or 15 people who were like super smart from businesses that were bigger than his about what he should be doing. So that's already great. But then at the end of that, the ones of those that he thought had done a really good job and he really liked, he then gave them like a bigger, like a 1 week, okay, that was really amazing. Could you do this bigger project for me? If they did a great job on that, then at the end of it, he was like, do you want to come and work for me as like, running this business or whatever? And I'm like,
brilliant.
That it kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, that might be something to think about to try doing. Yeah, because then you get some work done and you're auditioning people at the same time.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there'll be a whole lot of people who would have been a good candidate who aren't interested in doing some work on the side. But if you just message them about, I'm looking to hire somebody. But like, if I'm wanting to hire somebody, I don't trust my interview skills at all. I don't think interviews are that great for figuring out who's good. I always do test tasks anyway to like see how well did they do the job, not how well did they talk about doing the job.
Right. It's too hypothetical and abstract otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm staggered by how many people use interviews as a system for I know loads of people who are great at doing work and suck at interviews.
Right. And vice versa, which maybe is
I've
worse.
hired the ones who are vice versa because I made that mistake and be like, oh, this person sounds amazing. It's like, yeah, but they just sound amazing. That's not, that's not much help. Okay. I want to just circle back to something you said earlier about like the kind of you're trying to get more like in-person stuff. How are you doing that? What's your plan with that?
Yeah. Well, this is also an excellent question. I'm doing a few things. So tomorrow I'm doing a workshop on becoming a bookable speaker, because I think what I've identified in terms of how to translate what I do, like to go from being, I feel like people, if they encounter my work, they think of me as a YouTuber, not necessarily as a speaker.
Right.
And so I need to translate how what I talk about and what I do into something that is really easily bookable for event planners and conference organizers, that kind of thing, to just say, yeah, perfect, can visualize her in this slot, let's book her in. So I think I need to do a little bit of behind the scenes work on, first of all, on making sort of packaging what I do and what I talk about into a really readily and visibly bookable kind of package. And then from there, that's where I feel a little stuck, because I have tried to do some cold pitching. Cold pitching's the worst.
Yeah, isn't it though? Yeah.
Worst. I mean, I have absolutely no idea if things are even getting read, because most of the time there's no response whatsoever. So I can't do anything with that because I can't get any feedback on whether it was interesting but it was bad timing, or whether my topic wasn't right or anything. So I think what I want to do next is work really a lot more on relationship building and connections and networking, because I have a feeling that is how most of the speaking stuff happens, because I tend to see like the same names and faces turning up at the same at events and things, and I think it's because you sort of are there once you're in that whatever inner circle for whatever field or niche or area it is, then I think that it's easier to then just get booked word of mouth, rather than through cold pitches coming at you. So yeah. But I mean, if you have any thoughts on that, I'm open to it.
Oh no, I don't know. I just the places where I've been asked to talk on stage has been I'm in a community already and they know me, and then it's like there's only so much of that you can do, right? I got a friend who's he's in one of the big online just business owner communities. And he just went off and did a speaking tour of like something ridiculous, like 13 conferences in 22 days. And I'm like, wow. Oh, dude, that sounds tiring. Are you sure you want your life to be that? And he's like, no, I actually don't. No.
That's got to be a sprint. That's just a sprint. And then he'll go into a different season.
He doesn't carry on doing that all the time. No, but it's like, even so, that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
But again, that was because he was in that community, and he did one, and then he kind of was then asked to go do more, and so that worked well. But no, I don't really know. I'm just curious about it, because it's like it's so different to YouTube, online courses, work from anywhere, don't have to be in person.
Yes.
And it's like no, I want to be in person. I'm going to go do
it. Yeah. It is a different approach for sure.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. I'm definitely going to go check out some of your videos after this. If people want to look at your website, they want to see your YouTube channel, what should they search for? What should they be looking for?
Yeah, my website, I mean, of course, it's my home base and hub, drkimfoster.com. And from there, you can go to everything, my YouTube channel, everything that I do. And yeah, my YouTube channel is Kim Foster MD. Is
Kim
my
Foster MD and drkimfoster.com.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I really look forward to seeing how it all goes, and I hope the book launch is fantastically successful. Fingers crossed for you for that. As always, thank you so much for everybody for listening. And if you want to get hold of the stuff I mentioned about the customer avatar, drop me an email, John, JOHN, @datadrivenmarketing.co, and I'll send it through to you. The only thing I ask with that is you've got to actually promise me that you'll do the work in there, and then I will, if you promise me that, I'm going to send it to you for free. Kim, thanks again for coming on. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Thanks so much, John.